Well, it's 6 o'clock in the morning at a balmy 33 degrees outside, and we're off to Skatutakee Mountain and Thumb Mountain for a hike. A little bit late getting started this morning, but finally on the road. So get you a update once we get to the trailhead. So we pulled over here near a small brook in a swamp in New Hampshire, heading up toward New Ipswich. You can see a little bit of the color. Actually, most of the leaves are down, but just about catching sunrise sort of over the mountains in the distance. That was sort of a pretty picture. That's the view to the east. You can see the fog just climbing up over the mountains. And if we keep looking toward the west, you can see the moon is just about setting in the west down this road. See it just over the trees, the full moon. Should be a pretty day to go hiking. You can see somebody had called me and said, "Oh, when are there one of the peak colors in New Hampshire?" I'd say, well, probably about 5 minutes ago. It's really pretty brilliant up here right now. Tell you one thing, it is cold. It's about 30 degrees, 32 degrees, and the wind is really starting to whip even down here along the pond. So, time to head over to the trailhead. So here we are at the Harris Center in Hancock. It's a conservation center that's open during the week to especially young school kids, where they learn a little bit about the forest and the mountains and how to take care of them. And it is brisk out here. It's just about freezing. If we go to the Harris Center, we get a kind of a pretty view of the sunrise. We have a nice little atrium here for lectures and talks. And you can see in the distance Mount Monadnock, probably a little bit blinded by the sun, but the trail starts right here. So you can see what we are intending to do today is to follow from the trailhead. Oops, wrong place. Starting here, we're going to take the Harriskat trail up to Skatutakee, and then if energy is willing, walk this ridge line, do another climb up the Thumb Mountain, and then come back along the Thumbs Down trail. So that's the intent. It's sort of a particularly rocky, bouldery stretch. The trail kind of wraps down to a couple of boulder splits. They're about as wide as I am. There we go. It looks like somebody went and just threw handful after handful of boulders down here at the base of the mountain. Makes for kind of slow going, and I'm sure luckily there's not any ice on the rocks this morning. It definitely makes for a lot of added miles to the straight line map distance. Here we're getting up to our first real landmark on the climb, which is an old rock wall. You see, this is a corner here. Let's get up and over this. And you can see it sort of runs along the slope of the mountain. And where we're at here, right, is a corner of the property. You can see sort of the remnants of the wall continuing beyond. So it turns out that most of this mountain was used as pasture land about 150 years ago. And these walls are still the remnants of the individual pasture borders. Not like there's a shortage of rocks around here to build these with. Anyway, the rock wall on Skatutakee. Let's see where it takes us. But we should be very close to the summit at this point. And in fact, I don't see any trees above us anymore in that direction. We have some open ledges. And in fact, see a sign ahead on the trail. And here is the summit cairn. So welcome to the top of Skatutakee Mountain, 1,982 feet. Okay, now we've actually got a little bit of view above the trees. And what we're seeing is North Pack and Packmanadnock, the northern terminus of the Warpack Trail, which, and then in the distance you can see those two peaks by themselves just to the rear and below Packmanadnock, and those are the Uncanunuk Mountains over near Manchester, New Hampshire. And then as we go down the ridgeline, we see the rest of the Warpack Range, including there behind the trees. You see Holt Peak, Temple Mountain, and then continuing down, I can't remember what the last summit is, but it dips down into a col, and then you see Barrett Mountain, New Ipswich, which is a small bump, and to its right is Pratt Mountain, which Abby and I have hiked. And you can see there's some clouds, low clouds starting to move in, kind of obscuring the summit along that ridge trail. But that's the Warpack Trail, 27 miles from Watatic Mountain all the way up to North Pack. Really nice day up here. And there is a view just above the tree line of Mount Monadnock. So looking down from almost due north, and you can see the sun on the slopes. I'm sure there's a million people heading up there today. Just some views walking down the Thumbs Up Trail. So far it's been pretty wide, mostly hemlock with a lot of moss. Very, very nice footing. Not too rocky, not too ledgy. We'll see if that changes any, but seems to be a little bit easier going than the Harriskat Trail, at least at this point. So here we are, a little bit more than a mile of a ridge walk, which is absolutely beautiful. No rocks, pretty level. We are at a crossroads. We are at the junction of the Thumbs Down and the Thumbs Up trails. So I'm going to take a breather here and decide whether we've got the energy oh my God, to do that. That is like really steep. So we'll take a little bit of a pause and see whether or not I actually want to attempt Thumb Mountain. Well, here we are, top of Thumb Mountain. Here's a summit cairn, and very nice. Somebody built a little, here we go, makes it official. Thumb Mountain, 2 summits in one day. There's a nice little living room. You can sit in and have lunch, which is what I intend to do. But first, I'll walk over here. Wow, what a nice view. So there is a much nicer view of Mount Monadnock. And I'm going to see if I can walk around. I think there's a ledge over here. Oh yeah, there is. Look at this. And beautiful fall colors. Okay, I'll make it official. This is peak. I couldn't have done better. Oh, this is beautiful. It's about 55, 54 degrees in the sun. And truly a magnificent view of Monadnock. Let's see if I can get a zoom in on it. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, one day soon I'll try that. This is sort of a unique perspective from the north side. Most people hike it from the south or from the east. And there is where we just came from, which is the summit of Skatutakee mountain. Colors are absolutely beautiful. So here we are now. After summiting Thumb, we're on the Thumbs Down Trail. Now, who makes these things up? And now we're following the yellow rectangular blazes, which just take us down to the base of the mountain. And then, oh, another stone wall. And once we get down to the base of the mountain, there's a pond at elevation down there. So we're going to see if we can sort of bush back over to that and find it. So it's called Jack's Pond. So the next stop is Jack's Pond. And so here we are at the shore of Jack's Pond, down along the Thumbs Down Trail. About a third of the way back to the car. Probably have another 2.5 miles to go. It's absolutely beautiful here today. Oh, if I only had a pole and a license. Love to try my luck in here. Can't imagine it gets much fishing action. Six miles, 1,200 feet of elevation, and it's noon. That wasn't bad. Starting to got in the trail just before 8, and back now. I'm sure by next weekend most of these leaves are going to be down, so one last chance to enjoy it. Looks like